Namaste and welcome here with me just around equinox. For you, as you're viewing this, it might still be the end of the equinox celebration this year on the 23rd of September. We are here, my husband and I are here at the Giza Plateau today, traveling. We just arrived from Bali yesterday, so all I could do last night was sit and be in the hotel and look out the window. But here we are. We just took a ride again around the plateau of Giza and listened again to some of the creation stories as to what created these pyramids. And truthfully, many stories abound as to how and what happened. But I want to invite you on a journey of imaginary exploration with me. I sat here and I would like you to try and do the same thing later on. Just go in your mind and pretend you sit inside the pyramid or near the pyramid and just let your mind make up stories. What I found very interesting is that when I was teaching over the last 30 years different seminars on going into the past and past life memories, people remembered from different seminars that they had been buried and still had a mummy outside the pyramid in the vicinity, but that having a mummified body held part of their energy body connected to the historic person back then. In other words, having the DNA frozen in time or held in the physical world actually was not liberating to their soul. However, the Egyptian theory was that mummifying a body and giving them all the accoutrements for the journey, such as the pots and food and things. Even Tut was adorned with four goddesses, the Selkit. And it's actually a namesake to myself, the protection goddess, the four of them that have that golden outfit where they look to the side and are golden statues. They were the Selkit. They were thought then to journey into the afterlife and into another dimension. However, the people in my seminars were never influenced by another's theory, and nobody had heard from each other. 5 different people went and recalled that they were mummified and that they had to undo the cord to the DNA structure that held them back in time. So I'm just thinking that's an interesting piece of fact that should encourage all of us to do some of our own psychic research into the past, because the information is held in the ethers. And when you sit down and close your eyes and just open your mind to inspiration, you will then get flashes of ideas, and in time, you will be able to say, okay, that was accurate. For example, one time I wondered, where did the whales start? When did they start? The humpback whales. And I had a dream, and one sea cow, and it was much like in my dream it was, I think it was a rhinoceros, came swimming to me, hippopotamus, came swimming to me, and said, I am the ancestor to the humpback whales. And I woke up and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going nuts. I mean, really? I mean, a hippopotamus. Half a year later, I happened to read research that said recent discoveries in this voice analysis of hippopotamuses showed that they have the same kind of vocal sounding as the humpback whale. And it was assumed that they were the ancestors to the humpback whale when they were still terrestrial before they returned to the water. Now, we all can do our own psychic research into the past. So I invite you to come on the journey with me and pretend as we have a connection here, as I am here, I am bringing the vibes of being here. I'm like an anchor for you, and you and I will be connected in our minds over the next 10 days. That you go on a journey and discover for yourself what was that world like? Were you possibly here in another lifetime? Or what did the humans of that believe and impart and still can bring and teach us now? Or what can we learn from civilizations that were so organized in a belief of a worldview? And one thing is for sure, we all change our worldviews. We change what we believe about the cosmos, how we think it operates. So I'm going to invite you equally to journey along with the gods of Egypt to discover what principles do you go by and abide by that you believe the cosmos is created. My cosmos, for example, exists out of the understanding that eternity versus the present and the future, versus time-space. Now, for me, and I think and invite all the people to develop that, is to a sense of connectedness to the source of eternity, and simultaneously let the eternal take shape and form in the temporal, and that we are the eternal and the temporal at once, at the deepest core of ourselves. We are that Brahmic force, consistent and living within the creative force and the transformative, the Shiva force, the destructing force, the force that makes everything go back to its origins. And in that cycle of the coming and going, that the dreamer, the core source, is alive through your consciousness that then operates and understands through time and space different aspects of the entirety. It's never absolutely the entirety, because you are always in part with your feet on the ground and with part in the sky, right? So we will be able to be coming from the eternal sense of self and allow ourselves to be part of the temporal kingdom that we are living in right now. And in the Western world, we don't have much to go by. We don't have a real pantheon. We don't have gods. We don't have higher sources that we really adhere to. Has become very abstract and mostly determined by our Western understanding of the natural laws. So to take back the magic and bring the higher understanding of the eternal living through you, I want you to come with me on a journey and discover, as we go through the temples, and I'll tell you about the beliefs of some of the gods, like Thoth. In one of the explanations that Thoth, or the teachings of Thoth, have said is that the future is not written in stone. It's something that develops itself out of the law of cause and effect, and that you set the tone for the future effect. So you are seeding now your future, as we all know, but you truly seed the future not only in the small sense, you seed it in the greater sense. What will come in the next lifetime has a lot to do with the virtues developed in this lifetime. So which core of life do you want to emanate? Which ones do you want to occupy next lifetime? That depends on who you make yourself out to be now. So let's think about principles, the cosmology that you live by, and start pondering what that is. Because starting January, I will be offering the 365-day course that asks these questions about which true north you want to choose for your life, principles that you want to live by, values that you choose to embody, and then we walk through guided meditations that give your week that framework of deepening values, deepening your principles, and go with your intuition into developing these forces and then living by them on a day-to-day basis. So starting on the 1st of January, that will be a day-to-day course that I'm inviting you on. But for this 8-day period, I invite you to develop the deeper understanding of your principles, your cosmology, and the values you want to express in your daily life. Thank you very much for being here with me from the Giza Plateau today, just after equinox, or just on equinox with you. Namaste.